In this video, we're going to look at rope-to-rope transfers. The primary application of this technique is where we need to access a particular location but are unable to identify or access a suitable anchor point above that location. By erecting personal mobility lines on either side of that location, we're able to access any point in between those sets of mobility lines. Secondly, and perhaps more importantly for vertical rescue operators, this technique allows us to very quickly improve our proficiency at vertical mobility, making it a great technique to practice as we strive to become better operators. With the setup we see here, I'm going to start by climbing the red rope, transitioning to descent, attaching my ascenders to the green rope, and from there we'll step through the rope transfer. This obviously means that I'm going to need to take the tails of the green rope up the red rope with me. If that isn't possible in the scenario you're working in, there's a variation on this setup called a rebelay, where we also have a set of ropes connected between the two anchor points in a U shape. So as I said, I'm going to start by ascending the red rope. Just create a simple knot with the green rope so I can carry it up with me. That's far enough, I think, given the red rope is erected a bit higher than the green rope. We'll now transition to descent. See if I can keep myself facing the camera. So as we said, I'm now going to attach my ascenders to the green rope. Now, the primary technique to perform the transition is quite simple. We're just going to lower ourselves on the red rope, gradually ascending on the green rope as we go, until we're either at the location between the two anchor points that we need to access, or until our weight is entirely on the green rope and we can remove the red rope. The main consideration with this technique that adds a little complexity is managing our safety line. And there are several things to consider while going through this transfer. So at this point, I'm still directly below the red line. If something catastrophic were to happen and I were to fall on my safety line, my ASAP would easily catch me before I reach the ground. However, as I get lower and as I move further from my first anchor point, I'll increase the amount of pendulum that I have if something were to fail. So to start with, I'm going to put an alpine butterfly in the second green rope and attach my tether to that. So this will be a secondary safety line. Now, depending on the distance between the two anchor points and also depending on my distance above the ground, I may need to adjust to the location of this knot, moving it up the green line as we move laterally. We'll see how we go. So for now, I have a safety line on the green line, I have my ascenders on the green line, and I might pull myself a little further to the left. Now we'll start descending the red line. The angle's a bit shallower now, I might move further left. Continuing further, and without further adjustment. Happy days. If I look at the safety rope I've created on my green line, that's still going to keep me from hitting the ground if something catastrophic happens. And now the red line is sustaining none of my weight, so I'm going to transfer my ASAP from the red line to the green line, placing it above my backup knot. So now I'm set up in ascent mode on the green line. I'll just remove the remaining slack from my descender, remove that from the red line, and I've completed the transition. So now I can continue up, or I can transition to descent, or I could commence a transfer to a third rope. For now, I'm just going to descend back down the rope